In this video, we are going to talk about rounding first and then estimating. So first we are going to talk about rounding, the rounding steps. So as you know, when we round, we underline the place. We look right next door and we circle it. 5 or more, add one more. So the place you underline increases by 1. 4 or less, let it rest. The digit you underline stays the same. Numbers to the left stay the same, and numbers after this number, zeros are all their names. So for example, if we have 5,472, we underline the place if I want to round to the nearest hundreds place, so that would be the 4. We look right next door to its right, and that would be the 7. So is it 7, 5 or more? Yes, it is. So we add one more to the 4, it becomes a 5. The numbers to the left stay the same, so we leave the 5 the same, and all the other numbers become 0. So when we round 5,472 to the nearest hundreds, it becomes 5,500. Let's continue. Please, of course, write down the rounding steps. Thank you. Let's keep going. So rounding to the nearest hundreds. Well, let me go to the other slide. When we round 8,702 to the nearest hundred, once again, put your pencil point underneath the hundreds place. Look to its right. Is it 5 or more? No, it's 4 or less. So if it's 4 or less, we keep 7 the same and it becomes 8,700. Let's keep going. When we round to the nearest thousands place, we are using a number line in this case. There's two ways to round: the rounding rules, which I just gave to you, as well as a rounding number line. So you could create a number line if it asks for rounding numbers to the greater thousand. So please write that down, round numbers to the thousand. What is 6,541 rounded to the nearest thousand? Well, since it's the nearest thousand, the 6,000 is the first thousand, that the 6,541 is in between. And then it is the next thousand it's in between is the 7,000. So I would like you to write this number line down. Start with 6,000, go to 7,000, and then always put the midpoint or the halfway point, which is 6,500. Plot 6,541, and you can visually see, well, where is it closer to? It seems to be closer to 7,000 since it's after the halfway point. So 6,541 rounded to the nearest thousand is 7,000. And based on our rules, if we're rounding to the nearest thousand, we underline the 6 in the thousands place. Look to its neighbor. Is 5 or more? It sure is. So therefore, the 6 becomes a 7 and all the rest become zeros. 7,000. Let's keep going. And what happens if it is the midpoint? What if I say to you, what is 9,500 rounded to the nearest thousand? Again, 9,500 is the bookends are 9,000 and 10,000. We plot 9,500, and because next to the 9 to the right is a 5, 5 or more, we round it to 10,000. Please write that down. Homework slide 1, I want you to do all of these problems. So for number 5 here, it says, you copy the number line. So you'll copy this in your notebook. Use an X, the X moved. Use an X or I prefer a solid circle to mark the position of 125,231, as well as 125,780. Then round each number to the nearest thousand. Now you're going to have to estimate where they are located around here on the number line. Then you're going to round the rest of these to the nearest thousand. You do not need to make a number line. Now let's round 74,891 to the nearest 10,000. Please write this heading here. And then I want you to underline the 10,000, which is the 7. Then you're going to look next door, which is the 4. And then since it's 4 or less, you will leave it at 70,000. You'll round it to the nearest 10,000, so it becomes 70,000. Let's keep going. Now we are up to estimating. So the first part of estimating is using rounding to estimate the sums and differences. This was in your, remember that was in your pre-assessment that you had taken last week. So let me erase this, and we are now going to write what you see here. I'd like you to write using rounding to estimate sums and differences. And then we are going to round. First, this is how we're going to do it. Round the numbers 6,521 and 5,079 to the nearest thousand. And then we're going to add them. So step 1, you round. 6,521, as you can see, rounds to 7,000. Write that down. 5,079 rounds to 5,000. Then you estimate. So first we round each of the numbers. So as you can see here, it rounds to 7,000 and 5,000. Then you're going to add them. 7,000 plus 5,000 equals 12,000. And that is your estimation of that sum. Now, if I ask you to find if you use rounding to estimate the difference, here are the same numbers. And here it is in letter B, 6,521 minus 5,079. You round each of the numbers, 7,000 minus 5,000, and you get 2,000. Please write that down. This is homework slide 1. I want you to do 16 through 19, please. Now we're going to use rounding to estimate products. Use rounding to estimate products. Please write that statement down. And the way you round it is you, again, 7,120 times 5. Step 1. Round only the first number, 7,120, to the nearest thousand, which is 7,000. Then multiply it by 5, the second number, and it's about 35,000, and that's your answer. This is homework slide 2. I only want you to do 37 and 38, please. And the last thing to learn in this video is called compatible numbers. Of course, please write those vocabulary words down, compatible numbers. Then I want you to write the definition. Compatible, think about if you're compatible with someone. They're easy to get along with. So compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Then they can be used to estimate. So for example, we're going to use compatible numbers to estimate quotients. Quotient, if you forgot what quotient is the answer to a division problem. So let's do this problem in your notebook. 3,465 divided by 6. Well, that is a number that we need to figure out how to round 3,465 to a number that's compatible with 6. So what is let's look at our multiplication chart of the 6's. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. So I think that therefore, if we look at the first 2 digits of the 3,465, it's 34. So which one is it closest to? Well, we see 6 times 5 equals 30, and 6 times 6 equals 36. So let's replace all the numbers with our compatible numbers. So 3,465, the closest number to that is 3,000. And since the first 2 digits go into 6 evenly, so it's like saying 30 divided by 6 equals 5. Then add the 2 zeros. And then the next one in the multiples of 6 is 3,600. And 3,600 divided by 6 is 600. And when we round 3,465 to the nearest, it's about closer to it's between 500 and 600. So I would say you can use either one of those would be the correct answer. 3,465 rounded to the 1,000 is really closer to 3,000. So that's divided by 6 is 500. And if you chose the other one, you could have chosen the other one is 600. So those are compatible numbers. It's basically the multiples of the number you're dividing by that will help you divide it quickly in your head. 3,400 is will have a remainder. So let's think, what is something that won't have a remainder where we could add zeros? Well, 33,000 or 30 hundreds. So 3,000 divided by 6 is 500. And 3,600, because 36 is the next multiple of 6. When you do 6 times 6 is 36. So that is compatible numbers. You're going to do one problem for homework. On this slide now, just do 41 on your own. Just do 41 on your own. And if you want, you could try number 40 as well. Look at the first two digits and then think of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Well, 3 times 5 is 15, so you could use 1500 divided by 3. And then you could use 3 times 6 is 18, so you get 1800 divided by 3. That's where they are surrounded. 1745 is between 1500 and 1800 of its multiplication chart. Okay, thank you.